Speaking of, let's find out if reporting season has had any impact on what the NAB traders have done this week. Gemma Dale is joining us here in studio for our weekly catch-up. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Reporting season. Are NAB traders all excited?
Nah.
Hey.
I wish they were. Like volumes are higher than they were when things kind of flattened out. We had June, July. Everyone was like, "Oh no, I don't know if I need to participate in this." And so they weren't selling. It wasn't like there was sort of wholesale cataclysmic disasters, everyone getting out of the market. They just sat tight and didn't do anything. And we were thinking reporting season, people might get excited again, but nothing's happening. They're really not. They're not trading much. They're not trading anything that is reporting, more importantly. They're just kind of moving the same stuff they would otherwise move. The only thing they're super excited about is lithium, which is completely unrelated to reporting season. And that they're very excited about.
I did note Lake Resources. Is that being reflected on the platform?
My God, so it'll be our second most traded stock this week,
really?
Which is highly unusual for something of that size. Fortescue, it's always Fortescue, so we'll just ignore that because it's Fortescue. But to see something like that traded as actively as it is, and in the volumes, they're enormous, absolutely enormous. So there was the short seller news, there was the lithium sell-off back in sort of beginning of June, everything's off like 20% in a day. Then we now have the Inflation Reduction Bill, which was the Build Back Better bill, which was all of the green tech, clean energy stuff. Clearly that's sort of given everyone something to get excited about, but that's the space that people want to have a little play at the moment.
So Lake Resources, but did that enthusiasm or level enthusiasm extend to the producers? The stalwarts.
So it did spread a bit further back. It's the one that's way out in front, which I find fascinating. And it is actively trading, but not super actively trading. So you're talking 2 trades per account on average, rather than 20 trades per account on average. It's not a sort of super day trading-y thing. It's a kind of, I'm going to take a position and move it if the price moves enough thing. But then you've got Pilbara Minerals, that's right up there. Core Lithium's right up there. Sayona's back in there. So there's been, there's a long tail of other ones that everyone also likes to have a play with. But at the moment, it's all about Lake Resources.
Okay, in the banks, we heard from NAB, quarterly result coming through. We've got the full year from CBA now on the table. Matt Coleman warning of potential recession here in Australia. Did that resonate? I mean, did we see anything happening with CBA? I mean, I'm just trying to...
We're trying to get people to do something. Just, give us something to talk about. No, not much, right? Okay. CBA was... Price barely moved. Wasn't much for people to do. CBA is always interesting for our guys because it's so expensive. Yeah. It's just a stock that they really have trouble getting. If you've got it, you don't want to get rid of it because you've made that mistake before. And if you don't have it, you don't want to buy it because it's too expensive. Yeah. So it's in that sweet spot where you go, it's probably where it's going to stay for a while. I don't see a huge amount of upside, but I also don't want to make the mistake of getting out and then it, rallies again or just holds where it is.
Yeah, okay. So, how about Macquarie this week?
Yeah, Macquarie is really, really interesting. It's quite similar actually to CBA in that if you have it, you love it and you will never let it go. We have seen a lot of buying. If it gets down to 160, they're very keen to pick it up. If they get it below 180, they're reasonably happy. We're actually seeing buying at sort of 178 at the moment. That's quite interesting for our guys. Like that's a little bit pricier than I would have expected them to go for, but they're going for it anyway. They're kind of keen. And then CSL's at the other end, 297, they're getting out. Given what's happening today, they're probably like, that's just getting right up there towards 300. I think I'll get off the table now.
Yeah, okay. Now, when it comes to AMP, is it still widely held?
AMP is fascinating, right? Like it's kind of the original falling knife in that those who were around remember when the bank I won't mention bid $20 for it, right? Like back in those days, just incredible just watching that fall all the way down. And they've obviously had multiple opportunities to get out. They don't really know what to, if you're still holding, you don't know what to do with it. You're like, what do I do with this thing? But we did see quite a bit of selling yesterday. That was interesting. The results are out. It's sitting where it's sitting. The other one is Zip, actually. I thought this was also the other, that's a more recent falling knife. It had that extraordinary bounce. We saw a little bit of activity. Now we're seeing selling. People going, okay, it's sort of holding here above $1. They probably didn't buy it at 43 cents. They probably bought it somewhere else, but $1.30 will probably get out now, actually.
Now, when it comes to what's happening internationally, is there anything changing there? I mean, we still are in quarterly results season there. We saw the expression, or it come to light that Elon Musk had scored a whole heap of Tesla at the beginning of the month. So anything happening?
Yeah, Tesla's still the most traded stock. It's not a consistent buy to the extent that it used to be. It's certainly smaller volumes, and it's a buy for some people, it's a sell for others. Given how much we've got, I wouldn't be surprised if there was more selling to come. There's a sort of a wide dispersion of things that people are having a little dabble with. The one thing that's really interesting, chip makers, obviously hugely volatile at the moment. Everyone's trying to work out if supply chains are an issue, if Taiwan's an issue. Here are all the different things we need to factor in there. And there are a handful of directional ETFs in the US, specifically in the chip space, so semiconductor ETFs, directional ones. We're seeing people actively trade them. Large values, actively traded overnight. You're sitting up between 10 p.m. and whatever time it is, actively trading that, looking for an opportunity to make some money at the margin because it's so volatile, that space at the moment.
Yeah, well, we had that disappointment from NVIDIA, but I did note that when we saw that big rally yesterday in the wake of the inflation report, all semiconductor companies went higher. So interesting to know that the NAB traders are burning the midnight oil to do that. Anyhow,
good on them.
Always interesting. Gemma Dale, have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Joining us from nabtrade.